Okay, welcome back everybody. Gonna continue our Python tutorial programming language. Today we are going to learn about containers. Containers is basically a Python's um, there are different type of containers. Lists, dictionaries, sets, and tuples. Okay, that's a built-in container for Pythons. Okay. Um, Basically, container is a placeholder for text, for numbers, right? It's kind of like an array. You will see. So first is a list. So I can create a list like this. Let's say xs equals to. Um, oh, by the way, I'm using a Google Colab, right? So this is running on the cloud, and it's free. So you can just go to Google, right? And then Colab, right? And then you just click this one, right? Click that one, right? And then we're supposed to just launch automatically. And then new Python notebook, yes. Just press click cancel, yeah, right? And then you just go to new Python 3 notebook here, right? And then uh, to make it faster, you want to try their GPU version. So it can run on a CPU. In this case, you can do a CPU because we are not using yet the for neural network or deep learning, those kind of stuff. So you can just use CPU. But I want to show you, you can just one click of a button, it can use the GPU, and it's free. So you go to runtime and then change runtime type, and then hardware accelerator, none. Make it GPU and then click save. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. So I'm just gonna close this because I already opened that. It's okay. Now creating a list. Okay. So I'm just gonna put an array there. Let's say 3, 1, 2, right? And then I just run it. Oh, 3, 1, 3. And then I press XS. And then I run it, right? That's my list basically, right? And then I can manipulate it. Let's say print um, XS, let's say XS, and then uh, in a in a placeholder too, right? Let's see what it does. So it's gonna print basically the whole XS, which is 3, 1, 3, right? Which is by the way, I don't like to make this 3. I want to make it a different number. Okay, so I'm just gonna make it 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna run it again. Okay, and then gonna run this again. So okay, and then I'm gonna run this again. There you go. So basically what it does is print the whole XS, right? This one. And then so it's gonna print it, yeah, which is inside an array. And then also print XS2, which is so it will count. This is starts from this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, right? So it will print this number, okay. But if you put like XS0, it's gonna print what? Guess what happened? It's gonna print 3, right? Which is the first number. So the first number it denotes with 0, and then the second number is with 1, the third number is with 2. So it's just -1, kind of, right? Um, in the same way, you can let's say print, let's say XS um, -1, for example. Guess what happens? Can you guess what it's gonna print? 2. So if you apparently if you put minus, it will just go back, you know? It's like because this is 3, 1, and 2, right? So 3 is like it points 0, and then 1 is number uh, uh, is in a container of 1, and then 2 is a container of 2, right? So if you -1, it will just go back to the, it will cycle back to the number, like kind of like move forward, whatever. If because there is no number behind it, it will just move forward, which is number 2, right? But my question is, what if you can like, can you do print, let's say, um, print x as, let's say, oops, I'm using the wrong bracket here. X as, let's say, 3. Will it work? No, it doesn't work. So it says list index is out of range. Okay, so it doesn't work. But if it's negative, it will work, right? Um, okay, so and then we can try, let's say, what if it's and then you can change it. For example, uh, the container equals like foo, like that, right? And then you wanna see what's inside there. Oh, what did I do? Okay, so you can do that. You guys just change uh, the element number 2, which is pointed to this guy, right? To foo, right? Um, in this case, can I do? I think this shouldn't work because it's out of range, right? I don't know. We'll see. Let's say fa is out of range too. Okay, so it doesn't work. So this one actually it goes to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a website where you can just go. Reopen the link. So it goes somewhere. Yeah, it goes to my other URL should be open in Windows and make sure that oops, I don't know, reopen the link. Yeah, yeah, it opens actually in a different. I don't know why it doesn't open, but it's opening here or open here. No, 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 no. Hmm. Oh, it's wait. Does it open here? No. Oh. Okay. Anyway, scratch this. Okay. But this is actually to open a Stack Overflow, which is a website to ask questions if you not sure, you do not know what is that command or how to use that function or how to use that command in Python or in any other programming language. You can just go to that website and then just ask question, right? Um, and then what else can we do here? Oh, so you can use actually append is a command, right? To create a new element on that array. Okay, so you can type it, append. Now it's gonna create a new element, right? So and then you can use command pop, right? What does it do? Let's see. And then we print it out. Actually, it will pop the last one, right? So if you do pop again, pop again, it's gonna pop the last element. So yeah, okay, the foo is gone now, right now, right? Um, okay, so yeah, so now we're going into slicing. Yeah, okay, for slicing, let's say nums, we can create nums equals list range 5. Can you guess what does it do? What is will num will do? Can you guys guess? All right, so it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So if you do list range 5, it's gonna create 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in an array, right? A list. Um, hmm. And you can also do, let's say, print num, let's say only from 2 to 4. That, yeah, because this is element 0 is here, remember? 0, 1, 2, so it will create from here 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3. So it will exclude the 4. Yeah. You can also do, let's say, print nums, let's say 2 semicolon, and then you don't put anything, right? Oh, what did I do? Just like that. What do you think this will do? Because, oh, what happened? Prints are not defined. Oh, okay. Okay, let's do this again. Typo error. Yeah. So it's basically if you leave it blank like that, 2 semicolon and nothing, you didn't put any number, just leave it blank. Basically, it's just gonna take the whole, take whatever left after the number that you indicated previously. So this is like start at index number 2, which is 0, 1, 2 starts from here until the rest of it. It will take it, right? On the other hand, if you do like this, print, let's say num, and then you do like the opposite way, right? Like that. What do you think is gonna print? So this is supposed to print like whatever before. See, because the one before 2 is like we just leave it blank, so it's gonna take whatever on the left of that and then just gonna put it and it's just gonna print it out, right? So in this case, 0 and 1, right? Uh, okay, what else can we do here? So you can do, let's say, um, num, let's say 2 to 4, 2 to 4. You want to, let's say, exchange that to with 8 and 9. You want to exchange the element of this array that has an index from 2 to 4, which is from here to here. I think excluding this one. So you're gonna just change this guy here. Okay. So it's gonna be 01894, I think. Let's see. I just want to print it out. There you go. Okay. Now we are going to learn about loops, right? Loops. So for example, if you want to create a list of array called animals, and then you put, let's say, cat, let's say dog, right? And then you can put monkey, right? Okay. So this will basically create a list, right? A list of all those three, the name of those three animals, right? In an array, right? Which is a bunch of strings. And uh, you want to create a loop. Let's say, for example, you want to print this. Um, so for animal, in animals, okay, and then semicolon, right? And then you print animal. So what does it do is basically for animal in animals, and then we know the animals is basically is an array of these three strings: cat, dog, and monkey, right? So it's gonna basically it's gonna iterate each of this, right? And it's gonna put that iteration, let's say number 0 or 1, it's gonna put that into the variable animal, which is, so animal now is cat for the first iteration, right? And then it's gonna print that animal, which is in this case cat, right? And then just gonna loop, because this is a loop, so it's just gonna iterate. And then the second one is gonna take that dog into the animal, right? And then print it out. And then the third one is gonna be the monkey, and then put it into the animal variable and then print it out, right? Okay, let's run it. So that's how it does, right? Um, so and then if you want to access to the index of each element, right? Um, Within the body of loop, you can use the built-in enumerate function. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, so we have the animals, right? Cat, dog, and monkey, and then let's say for idx animal in enumerate, can do that, animals. Okay, and then you can do print, and then you can do like hashtag. What's the hashtag? Hashtag percent d semicolon percent s. Remember, this is, I think is a percent d is an index, right? And then s is a string, right? Um, um, let's see. This I think another percent and idx plus 1 animal. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, so what does it do is basically is this function is a loop function, right? Okay, you guys already know. The enumerate here is basically just taking the index. Okay, so it's taking the index of let me see here, of each of the element. So this is index 1, right? The first one is index 1, cat here. Index 1, this is index 2, and index 3, right? And then it's going to put that index 1 into this idx variable, right? So for the first iteration or first loop, you can call it, it's going to print. So this is going to print percent %d, which basically, remember, percent is basically referring to the whatever um, um, inside the parenthesis. Okay, so over here percent %d, right? So what this mean is it's gonna print, because remember this is gonna print first the hashtag here, right? So this is gonna print the hashtag, right? And then why is this printing 1? Because it's percent %d, it becomes 1. The percent %d, it's referring to this percent idx. And remember, idx is equals to 1 because it's because of this function enumerate, it gives the value to 1 for the first iteration, right? And then idx plus 1 is basically is just keep on increasing, right? For the second iteration is gonna um, become 2, the third iteration become 3. And then the percent %s, which is printing here, right? Why is this printing cat? Because it's printing the percent of the animal, right? Percent means it's just it's like a parallel. It's like a parallel thing. If you uh, uh, um, it's a parallel thing that you can um, it's a link. So if you put percent here, it's basically it's also linked to the percent inside the parenthesis, right? And then the first animal, this animal is a cat, right? So for example, if you put this without plus, for example, uh, see what happens, right? So so it becomes it's 0, 1, and 2. So the plus here is just to make it become 1, 2, 3, right? Because the index it starts with 0 apparently. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, now we will do, let's say, a different one. Let's say we'll clear this up. We'll go to a different one. Okay, so let's say nums um, goes to, let's say, from, we're going to create a list of numbers from uh, 0 to 4, for example, right? Nums, okay, equals that, right? Done. And then we're going to create a square variable. Squares variable equals to just an empty array, right? Um, and then we're going to create for x in nums, yeah, let's say squares dot append means you put something, right? You add something up, you add something on inside the array, right? X to the power, let's say, of 2, right? And then we're gonna print that. Gonna print it. Print squares. Okay. So what does it do? First, we are creating an array of nums 0 to 4. We're creating squares. It's just an empty array, right? And then we're creating this loop here, right? Um, which says for x in nums. So what is the first iteration of x? It's going to be 0, right? Yeah, right? And then it will say, so x is 0 over here, right? First iteration. And then it will execute this code, right? X is 0, which means squares dot append 0 to the power of 2. What is 0 to the power of 2? I think it's 0, right? So it's going to put 0 because 0 to the power of 2 is 0. It's going to put 0 inside append. Remember, it's going to put it inside the array. It's going to add into that array because, right, it's going to put 0 here, right? And then it's going to print it out, right? Well, actually, this is going to keep on looping first. So, and then the second iteration is going to put 1, right? And then 1 to the power of 2 is, what is 1 to the power of 2? 1 is, I think it's 1, right? 1 to the power of 2 is 1. Yeah, 1 times 1, right? It's 1. So it's going to be 1. So the first member of the new squares, the square is going to be 0 and then 1. How about the second one? 2. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So it's going to be 0, 1, 4, and then 9, right? And then 16. We'll see. There you go, right? I'm not sure if I can do it like this. If you do it like this, do you know what's the difference? The difference is this is the thing about programming, right? Um, if you put it like that, it will the because it will treat this command, the print, inside the loop. So every time the loop works, the first iteration is going to print. It's going to execute that command, the print, right? That's why there's so many. It will print first 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 4. But if you just move it, just go back like that, right? This will be outside the loop. So it's gonna just make this loop first within this two uh, uh, instruction. It's gonna create a loop, right? And it's gonna store the squares. And then at the end of the loop, it's gonna print this one. So if you execute this, guess what happened? It's just gonna print one, right? Array, which is 0, 1, 4, 9, and 16. So so this is like kind of tricky if you're new to programming. Just a miss of typo, just a miss of like a space bar, just a miss of tab, just a miss of like quote. It will just has a different meaning for the computer, right? That's just how it works. The computer. It's very kind of finicky. It's not like us human. Oh, if we like if we just talk to people, hey, what's up? They will understand what's up means how are you. It's not mean like what's up there, right? So when you say that what's and then you create a pause up, they will still understand it, right? But for computer, it doesn't work like that. If you just put a space bar or put like a pause like that, they completely misunderstand you, right? So and you can still, of course, you don't talk to people like that. You say like, normally you talk, say, hey, how are you? And then you say, hey, how are you? You don't pause it like that. Or you said, hey, how are you? You know. But anyway, that's just the tricky thing about is the syntax of the programming language. We just have to get used to it. Um, so we have to take care of the details, right? But hopefully, with artificial intelligence, with machine learning, and all that good stuff, right? Uh, those typo or you forgot like a full stop, you forgot like a space bar. The artificial intelligence can like um, kind of can correct those and give you like a list of like possible, let's say for possible like corrections. At least it will give you a warning because for this is kind of easy because it's only like let's say one, two, three, only like 5 line of codes. What if you're like working in a company? There's like Google has like I don't know billions of codes, for their search engine to go through just for hundreds. If you have hundreds line of code, it's already like mind-boggling. If you have a millions of code, that's even crazy, right? So you need tools to help you to, for example, to debug your codes, right? Okay. Anyway, I'm going off tangent here, but yeah, just a set of information. Okay. What else can we do here? Let's say. Um, so that's called um, it's a list comprehension because typically when we program frequently we want to transform one type of data into another, right? And as a simple example, you can see uh, from ordinary like numbers you want to convert it into square numbers, right? So you can just so this is like one example. Um, but make this code simpler, and in programming language I think they also call this refactoring. So if you heard about what refactoring means, it's just a way of making the programming language kind of easier to understand, instead of convoluted, right? It's just like when you talk to people, like instead of like, hey, what's up? How you doing? You're beating around the bush instead of just asking a direct question. Let's say, hey, you want to have dinner with me? But you're like asking, hey, are you hungry? there's this new restaurant. You just ask the question directly. Hey, want to have dinner with me? It's like that. It's more like easier to understand. So that's called refactoring. So in this particular example, we can use a simpler code. So you can just okay. So you can tap it again, right? That's it. 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, and then squares equals x power of 2 for x in nums. Right. Okay. And then you just sorry. This is supposed to be square. Print squares. You guys see this? Do you want me to like make it bigger for you? There you go. That's bigger. Okay. So I wish I can like make this disappear, all of these things. I don't know. Okay. So you see this? Okay, we're gonna run it, see what it works. Okay. So it's basically the same kind of function, but this one is just 3 line of code instead of 5. See how much more like simple. It's just 1 line of code here instead of um, 3 line of code, right? So basically you compress, and it's also probably is easier to understand. I don't know. I think for me it's kind of easier to understand instead of using this, right? So you just put squares is equals to, and then you put parentheses, right? X to the power of 2 for x in nums. That's it. So this is like the loop, right? So this is called a kind of refactoring in the programming, right? Um, so list comprehension, right? Also, you can use list comprehension for so list comprehension basically what we are doing right now. Basically, you want to transform one type of data into another type right? Um, you can also contain conditions. So another example is, let's say, nums equals, let's say, we're still doing the same thing here, right? Okay, so we're just gonna do, just to make it easier, right? The same thing. I'm not changing it. Yeah, the same. And then even, let's say, even squares, okay, equals to x to the power of 2 for x in nums. So we are putting conditions, okay? This is a bit more complicated. If x the percent 2, this is if x, I think, divided by 2 equals to 0. Okay. So if so this is just saying, and then sorry, I'm just gonna finish this and then print even squares. Okay. Okay. So what does this do? So for example, so we go to the first um, this one, right? So nums is from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is an array of numbers. It's a list of numbers, right? We got that. We got it. Okay, awesome, right? Okay, so what is this thing? We're just declaring a new variable here, even squares, yeah? You can put odd squares, bar squares, damn square, d square, whatever, right? It's just a name. It's a naming system, right? Even squares equals to x to the power of 2, which is kind of the same as this one, like our previous one, right? So we're just gonna power whatever x is to 2, right? So if x is 0, power 2. X is 1, power it 2. X is 2, power it 2. X is 3, power it 2, right? So if you just do that, you don't think about anything else, right? Then it's gonna be 0, 1, 4, 9, and 16, right? Just like the one at the above. But then it says here there's a loop for x in nums, yeah, which is the first one is 0, right? The first iteration is 0. The second iteration is 1, and so on, right? If if x divided by 2 and there's nothing else, if you divide it by 2, it's equal to 0. This percent means it's a modulus, I think. It's like it's like it's like it's like division. If you divide it and there's no remainder, okay? So what is that number? If you divide it by 2 and there is no remainder, it's an even number, right? So for example, if you buy 0, 0 divided by 2, is it does it have a remainder? No, it's 0. 1 divided by 2, does it have a remainder? Yes, of course, yeah. If you 1 divided by 2, it's not 0, it's half, right? How about 2 divided by 2? 2 divided by 2 is 1, but what is the remainder? It's 0, right? So, yeah. So basically, this notation is looking for an even number, right? Because this statement is basically whatever x, if you divide it by 2, if the remainder of that division is 0, then you do this operation. So if you put the first iteration 0 is, if 0 modulus 2 equals 0, yes, right? So you put it here, so 0. How about 1? 1 modulus 2, 1 divided by 2, that's half, right? The remainder, is it 0? No, right? 2 divide modulus 2, the remainder, is it 0? How about 3? 3 divided by 2. So sorry. So again, this is division. You just take the the whole number, right? Which is the whole number. You don't want to take the decimal number, right? So if it's 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, right? But you want to take just the whole number. 3 divided by 2 is 1, and then the remainder is like half, right? So it doesn't qualify here, right? You want to take only the integer part, kind of the integer part. Yeah, sorry. I kind of explain it not very clear. So this expression is basically you divide it, and then whatever the result of that division, you take the integer value. You kind of separate the integer value and the remainder. And if the remainder is 0, then it will pass, right? So if it's like 4 divided by 2, it's 2, right? It's a whole number 2, right? And then there is no remainder, right? It's 0. So 4 will pass that test. How about if it's 5? Well, 5 is not there, right? But how about if it's 5? Let's say 5 divided by 2 is, well, it's 2.5, right? But the whole number is only 2, right? Because 5 divided by 2 is 2, and then there's a remainder of 1, which if you divide it by 2 becomes half, right? So 5 wouldn't pass. So if we print this even squares, then it's just going to print all the x that are even, and then it's going to power it. So it's going to print 0 power of 2, which is 0, and then 2, right? 2 power of 2, 4, right? So it will print 4, and then 4, and then you power it. 4 to the power of 2, 4 times 4 is 16. So 0, 4, 16. Okay, so that's all for now. Next session, hopefully we can learn something else a little bit more complicated, or just a different aspect of a command in Python. All right, stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Any feedback, please. See you next time.